So I've got another little bolt-on piece to add to my Henry Big Boy X. Coming up on Modern Mountain Man. Now, as I've mentioned to you guys in the previous two videos about the Henry Big Boy X, one of the things I want to do with this is take my kids hunting. None of my kids have killed anything big game yet. They're just kind of getting at the age where they're big enough to start doing that. And what would be super cool is if not only could we go out there and have a successful hunt with this rifle, but what if we could record it too? I've got this little action camera. It's a Rilo. It's a 360 camera. Now, the company who made Rilo was bought out by another company so they could get their hands on their technology. So they're no longer available, but it's still a really good camera. And what I love about this camera is it's a 360. So it's got a lens on this side and a lens on that side. So you can record 360 degrees, which I love for this application that I'm going to talk about today, on adding it to a gun so that when you're shooting, not only are you videoing what you're looking at, but you're also videoing the person doing the shooting. And I believe that's going to be a really cool capture for my kids shooting their first deer. And what I love about it being 360 is even if they don't have the camera discipline to hold their rifle there after the shot to watch their face and watch the fall, if they drop the rifle, it's 360. As long as it's not being blocked by something, if it's pointing in the general direction, the video editing software, I can capture everything on here. So I bought this little M-LOK attachment off of Amazon to attach an action camera to anything with M-LOK. Now, when I received the piece, here's the actual M-LOK attachment right here. Right through there, there's this little crane arm that you attached right there. The crane arm attaches to the thing that actually holds the camera. So it goes kind of like this. But when I received this, I immediately took a look at this M-LOK slot right here. And this, the space of those two screws that you would screw into the M-LOK there was too wide for me to fit in that one piece of M-LOK. So you know what? I got to figure out whether this is cheap Amazon product tolerance issue or whether it's a Henry tolerance issue. So I grabbed another piece of M-LOK that I have, an AR, and I found out really quick that it wasn't going to fit into one M-LOK slot. It had to fit into two M-LOK slots. Since the Henry doesn't have two, I said, you know what? I'm going to try something. I'm just going to put one of the M-LOK screws into the slot and just crank it down real tight and see what happens. Let's check it out. And for those of you who are curious what the brand is, it's whatever that says right there. I'm not even going to attempt to figure out the proper phonetics of that little phrase. So once again, I'm only going to use one of the M-LOK screws. This middle one right here, that's not for one of the M-LOK screws. That's for the post that comes out of it. And this one, we're just going to put it up against the M-LOK and see what happens. Making it fit isn't worth taking this thing off to me and milling this thing out further and boogering it up with my Dremel. So we're just gonna try this out. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work, and I'll just add this to an AR that has multiple M-LOK slots. So goes in just like that. So we can either put it in this way and have it a little further forward, or we can go the other way around like this, and it covers up the little M on the M-LOK there. I think. Let's look at it again. Which looks best to you? I think I'm going to go that route right there. All right, tighten it up that tight. Seems to be pretty solid. Give it one more little crank just to see what I can find. All right, that's all we got. All right, so I've only got one of the M-LOK screws in. So you can see right here, if you look real close, there's nothing but polymer underneath. There's no hole, there's no screw. But man, I can't budget, and I've got a pretty good grip, so I think we're solid there. Now we got these other three pieces right here. This is the bolt that holds it all together. This is the arm, and so this arm fits in here that way. And then what we do is, see how you got that square right there? He can go on this way or that way, or that way, or that way. Let me put my action camera on this guy and see what looks best. All right, so it's typical GoPro-ish style mount where you just put it in there like that. Run this little peg in there. It's threaded on one side. So you just run it all the way through. So do we want the camera to be up like that? Can't run it that way because this peg will be in the way. We can run it like that. I might like it this way. So what we're gonna do now, we'll just drop that peg in there. And now this bolt runs, like I said, all the way through that arm, all the way through the mount surface, down into the little pick rail that we attach to the M-LOK. All right, so it's attached. One thing that I have noticed right off the bat about this particular setup, when I torque down on this thing, I see that there's a lot of slop in it still, no matter how tight I do it. I know that it's not a tolerance issue on the Rylo case itself because I have put this Rylo case in other GoPro branded holders and it holds just fine. So it's probably a tolerance issue on this part that I got right here. I can probably figure out some sort of a shim to put in there to tighten things up. We'll see. I'm not gonna worry about that too much right now. But for sake of this review, I like it other than that one thing. You know what? As soon as I turn the camera off, I figured something out, so I'm going to roll this back in. Now, I just switched it over just one, so let me show what I mean by that. So, see how it's got the two slots there? These two things should go in those two slots like that. However, there's a lack of tolerance between the slot and this outside leaf. So I switched it over like this. So see how there's that one slot still open? Watch this. Put it in there. Put it in place. Rock solid. So it's unusual, but it works. Fixed it just moments after I turned the camera off. I like it because, you know, I can easily attach my camera to it, but I also like it because I can detach it pretty easily. So I can leave this little pick rail part that I attached to the M-LOK on there. And look, when I move back and forth, you can see that gap that's left there by only having one screw. See my gray shirt through the gap there? That's another thing I don't like is that it doesn't fit on one M-LOK slot. It probably wasn't designed to do that. It was probably designed more for the AR that I showed you earlier, where you could pop it on two different slots. But, you know, for my purposes, I don't like it. It's not a big enough deal to me that I'm willing to take off this forearm and booger it up with my Dremel. We'll just leave it how it is and see how it shoots. I'm going to figure out some sort of shim to keep this thing from wobbling. But I do like that when I want to take this camera off, I don't have to take the whole thing off. I can just unscrew the bolt that's in here that removes this whole shaft in the holder, and I can leave the M-LOK on there because this whole deal right here is not going to fit well in a gun sock. It's not going to fit well in a gun cabinet or a gun case, but this just with this little M-LOK piece on there will fit just fine. So I'll rolling some video through here about me running this camera outside, and just to let you know how it works thus far. But like I said, I'm looking forward to trying to shoot some footage of my kids shooting their first deer, maybe a turkey or a bear even, but we'll see what we get into. But nonetheless, if I can't figure out how to shim it, I can probably figure out some way to run it downward like that and just lock it into place so it's not wobbling back and forth the whole time. We'll figure out what we want to do with that one, but But until then, God bless you guys. Go take some videos. But be careful what you buy on Amazon. God bless you. Go take him out.